Casablanca.
Heard of it?
Forget it, kid. It's Casablanca. That's what they say in this movie.
Barely a 1942 movie. It premiered in December and didn't really go wide until 43, but it is generally considered a 42 movie, even though it
Had
won
its
the
festival
Oscar.
run in
It,
42.
it won the Oscar for 1943, so whatever. But we're talking about it 42 now today. Casablanca,
Yeah,
pretty
you were
famous.
like, oh, we need to record right now because I got so much to say about Casablanca. Like,
I
unleash
I
me.
I was talking up Casablanca. Casablanca, spoilers, very good movie. Like
Yeah,
Hachi Machi, what a good movie
Hachi
this is.
Machi.
Directed by Michael Curtiz, who I feel like I at this point in his career, I feel like is more of like a swashbuckling guy, right? He's like making Captain Bloods and Robin Hoods and stuff. And this is like a much more kind of serious drama compared to those.
Yeah, I mean, I like this better than his other two movies we've seen for
I mean,
this
me too.
podcast.
Like, I like this movie more than a lot of other movies because it's Casablanca and it is incredible. Like, hot take there. I mean, I'd seen this before. I think more than once. I mean, for a number of reasons. I think it like really hit for me watching it for the show.
Mm-hmm.
I was like, holy shit, Casablanca is an incredible movie.
The vibes that are established in this movie are immaculate.
Yeah. I mean, this is a movie where I'm just like, there isn't really a weak spot in it. I'm just like, yeah, everything comes together so kind of perfectly and magically. And it was also a movie that was kind of thrown together as like, oh yeah, we're making another one of these. Like, it wasn't treated as like it was treated as like we're gonna try to make a good movie out of this, but it was like I think there's a lot of stories about how it was at least treated by the studio or the in production that it was like kind of churned out a little bit as like we're gonna kind of make a drama about the contemporary. I think it came out like right after the Allied invasion of North Africa, so they were like, we got to make a North Africa set movie.
Hmm.
I don't know if they knew about that while they were making it or if that was just release. I don't know, but it was like a much better and I think much more successful movie than anyone kind of expected it to be. I think similarly to Be or Not to Be, only I think in a much I felt it a lot stronger watching Casablanca. The sort of the context of which of when it was made and how much it
Yeah.
feels like a real kind of I think Casablanca, especially because Casablanca is a much darker movie than To Be or Not to Be, in the sense that it
Mm-hmm.
is a drama instead of a comedy, and it is a movie built on so much like the idea of sort of like wild hope of like having hope in the face of like overwhelming odds and sort of like being surrounded by just so many reasons not to have hope.
It's a movie that
And I'm like, in
yeah. At
1942,
this
they
point,
didn't know what was going to happen.
yeah. It's a little cliche to say that a movie about Nazis reminds us of our times, but like, this is a movie that is about overcoming the disillusionment that you
Yes.
feel in the face of all of the horrors that you feel like you can't make a dent on in the world.
Yeah. Which, yeah, it was that exact feeling that like hit me so much watching this. And I like really felt in my bones. Right. There's a line towards the end of the movie. I feel like I don't know how much of the plot we need to get into because it's Casablanca. Everyone knows what happens in Casablanca. If
I
you don't,
certainly
go
don't.
go watch
I
Casablanca.
mean, I didn't when I watched this.
Had you not seen Casablanca before?
Nope, first time watch.
Oh dang.
Seeing in context, baby.
Nice. And did it live up to the hype?
It's real good. It's a really,
Yeah.
I mean, I would agree with you that there is not a weak spot in the movie.
Yeah.
I want to watch it again for sure. It was actually
Mm.
playing at a theater like 2 days ago here, and I should have seen it, but I should
Ah.
have watched it, but I didn't. Um,
But so like there's a line towards the end where Victor, the resistance member, says to Rick, Humphrey Bogart's character, like this time we're gonna beat them, like we're gonna win. Sort of in the context of this movie makes references to a lot of like historical events that had happened through like the mid to late 1930s of like part of Rick's backstory and the reason why he is so cynical throughout most of the movie is that they talk about, oh, when Victor meets him, he's like, I've done my research on you, right? He's like looked up his backstory, and it's like, oh, you ran guns in Ethiopia when Italy was invading, and then you fought in the Spanish Civil War on the loyalist side against the fascists, and both of those were fascist victories, right? Both of them were a fascist country was invading or taking over their own country, and they won. And so
Mhm.
Rick has been through those experiences. Now it's sort of like spread to more parts of the world, right? He moved to France. France gets invaded also. That
Yeah.
gets, occupied. At the same time, he then like loses and feels betrayed by this woman that he's fallen in love with. And so by the time we see him in the beginning of the movie when he's in Casablanca running his cafe slash, nightclub,
Which, like, that place is so cool. I wanna
it's
I
the
wanna hang
coolest
out.
place in the world. Yeah, of course. Rick's Cafe American seems like the coolest place to hang out. I feel like Rick in this movie is kind of like the movie cliche, like a cynical character.
He's really jaded. He doesn't believe in anything. He has no, like,
He's
anytime
incredibly
someone tries
selfish.
to make like an emotional appeal to him, like, he's like, I literally don't give a shit.
Yeah, he's like, I don't give a shit. I care only about myself. Like that's the only my end goal is only like how can I just like serve myself in this situation. I have zero empathy for anyone else around me except for maybe Sam, who's my good friend.
You can see that he has principles, and there are ways that I think, like, his portrayal of himself as an unfeeling guy, like, through, especially throughout the movie, you start to like
Well, yeah, you see it,
see.
you start to see it peel away, right? You see, like at his heart, he is an idealist who has fought for all of these sort of like idealistic causes, right? And he's lost
Mhm.
every single time, right? Every time he tries to fight against fascism or fight for an ideal that he believes in, he loses, right? And then he falls in love with a woman and she leaves and he feels betrayed by that, and he's like, I've lost the love of my life. Fuck it. I'm not gonna care about anyone ever again.
Yeah.
And
But
it's
like,
like I kind of get it. Like after all of that, I'm
right.
like, yeah, he's an asshole. I'm like, you know what? Because also I have been feeling pretty cynical about the state of the world and the state of the United States as a country lately, for no reason in particular. And I feel like this movie's sort of like stance of like, yeah, that is a reasonable way to respond, but it is also kind of, if not cowardly, at least like it's sticking your head in the sand,
Right.
you know?
And that sometimes, like, the more that you do that, like, the more it will arrive on your door eventually.
Yes, that too. And then, right, so slowly we're seeing sort of more and more little moments of Rick sort of like revealing that he is an idealist at heart.
I think one of the, like, biggest moments is when, like, of, like, seeing through to his character, his true character is, when the cafe is shut down and he is, like, trying to make sure that he's like gonna burn through all of the money that he has left so that he can continue to
Hmm.
pay his staff while it's shut down. And it's like,
Yeah,
oh, you're such a goody, Rick.
yeah. And like it feels like more and more like the he starts to do it more and more throughout the movie, and especially early on, it feels like he's like doing it kind of in a curmudgeonly way, like he's begrudgingly been like, all right, fine, I'll like help you out. And like, don't ask again, And then like more and more, we're like, oh no, he likes this. Like he does like helping people. But the point that I started this off on is like, there's the line at the end of the movie where Victor tells Rick like this time we're gonna beat him, and yet like they didn't. 1942, that was an actual like act of optimism. There was no
Yeah,
guarantee that they would win.
yeah.
There's a feeling, right? Like they didn't know in 1942. If anything, there was so much evidence to the contrary at that point. Like
Hmm.
the turning point hadn't really happened yet,
They had to
you
believe
know?
in it.
Right. And it's like the fact that this movie is so built on this idea of just like optimism in the face of like overwhelming evil is like, ugh. It really got me. And it is schmaltzy. This movie is
Mhm.
schmaltzy as hell. It is like the poster for like Hollywood schmaltz, right? and yet I don't feel like it doesn't feel, it feels earned in this movie, I guess. When it
Yeah,
gets when the when there's sweeping music, when it's like, when he's saying goodbye at the airport, it is like it feels very earned. It doesn't feel manipulative, it doesn't feel forced. It's like, no, this is a real moment between characters that have layers, that have are making decisions that don't feel easy for either of them.
yeah. It's so earned, I don't even think of it as schmaltz. It's like,
Right,
I
yeah.
think schmaltz is like it has no substance. But
Yeah,
like
yeah.
this is just feeling. It's just genuine,
Yeah.
like genuine sentiment, not
Mm.
sentimentality.
Yeah, sentiment is probably a better word, because schmaltz, I think, does have a real negative connotation. I think sentiment is something that some people, I think, view kind of negatively, especially in movies. That I mean, I love Spielberg. I love Casablanca. I like sentiment in my movies. Clearly, another like famous scene in this movie that I think like hit me a bit harder than I expected to is like the scene where Victor gets the band to play, was the French national anthem, right?
Yeah, which felt very like the grand illusion, like this
I mean, it felt almost like they were like maybe doing a
like
little
riffing on that.
riffing on that, yeah, because it is very similar and it's the same piece of music. But yeah, I don't know, just the idea, right, that it isn't like, I don't know, I was very just caught up in this idea that like when this movie came out, it was not like, oh yeah, World War II, we got this beat, we got this handled. It's like maybe that was the prevailing idea in the United States, because that's like what people needed to hear in order to like get behind the war effort. But like they didn't know.
Yeah.
But also like we haven't even mentioned like the incredible dynamite supporting cast of this movie. The like
Hmm.
the I think the romantic story works really well. It's like simultaneously incredibly, it's like it does a thing that I think is very impressive, that it gets you to a point where you want desperately to see the two characters end up together, and then it makes them not ending up together feel like a happy ending.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I'm like, God damn it, movie, that was good.
Like,
It like,
oh, okay, you thought he died, and then you found out that he didn't die.
yeah,
Like,
it
I
has
get
like
it.
Claude Rains plays such a huge piece of shit in this movie, and yet at the end of the movie, you're like, hell yeah, dude, this guy rules.
It's like we got him. I mean, even that's the thing, right? It's like not just I was gonna call him Sam Spade. Like not
Eh, might as well be.
his it's not just his cynicism that's defeated. It's the guy whose cynicism is so strong that he becomes a Nazi collaborator. Like
Right?
he's the
Yeah.
one who is defeated also.
Hmm.
Um yeah, like he does horrible things in that movie, but it almost feels like he redeems himself in that one moment. Such a like nice Hollywood movie moment where you're just like, like
Yeah.
he did it.
Which I also, big credit to Claude Rains for like getting that character to work that way, because I don't
Yeah.
think a lot of other actors could have pulled off that as well. I mean, this is probably the thing Claude Rains is best known for. Like Invisible Man is probably pretty close, but I feel like in terms of his entire filmography, it's like, I mean, pretty much anyone who's in this movie, this is their most famous movie. I don't know if that's really. I think this is their most famous movie, maybe not their most famous role. Like Conrad Veidt, who plays the Nazi general or whatever. His most famous role is probably
This
for
is
sure
the
the somnambulist
somnambulist.
from Caligari. Yeah. Also, just cool to see him show up. I think this was his last movie, also,
His last movie,
if
really.
I'm remembering correctly. Yeah.
Yeah. Last film role to be released in his lifetime.
Yeah. I mean, he's very good in this, playing a like very classical like Nazi villain guy who's just, very I don't know, sort of aristocratic and mean to everyone he meets.
Hmm. Well, if we're talking about supporting characters too,
Hmm.
Glenn's MVP, I feel like is
Yeah.
is always going to be Peter Lorre.
Peter Lorre. Also, again, like maybe not Peter Lorre's like most famous role, but like this is also like as quintessential Peter Lorre as you're likely to get,
Yeah.
is in this Ugarte, and where he's just like, right, he's a real kind of like slippery character. He's sort of like he's definitely a criminal, but you're not even sure entirely what kind of criminal he is. He's just the kind of guy that is always, he's got some shady deal going on somewhere.
Yeah.
And he isn't even in the movie very much. I actually was kind of surprised how quickly he's taken out, taken away.
Take him away, Sam.
Yeah. That famous line that isn't in the movie.
Yeah, because it's played against no.
It's played against
Yeah.
him, not in the movie.
Yes.
People often say play it or play the song or play as time goes by or
Or
hey Sam, how are you? But like no
or they're
one
like, "What are
says
you doing playing that song, Sam?
yeah.
I told you not to play that
Yeah,
song,
Sam, I told you
Sam."
not to play that song. Also, right, just like that piece of music as like the thing that is like representative of their like past failed romance
It
is
feels like
works so well.
it's like such a good thing because it's like couples will get a song that's like their
Yes.
song, right?
Yeah.
And it captures this melancholic feeling of hearing your couple's song after the fact, right?
Yes.
Like it's why he banned it from the bar. He's like, I can't deal with it. Like I think
Right.
that
But then
like
also once he hears it again, he meets her again for the first time in years, he's like, play that song on loop, like while I drink a whole bottle.
yeah, because it makes him so sad, right? It's like
Yeah.
he doesn't want to confront his feelings. He's gruff, he is detached, he doesn't want to confront his feelings, but like he's also like maybe part of the reason why he doesn't want to confront his feelings is because of his tendency toward negativity. And so once he
Hmm.
gets the opportunity to listen to that song, he just hurts himself over and over by listening
Mm.
to it.
Mm. Ah, it's a good movie.
I think that we talked about like the ways that his kind of the ways that he's putting on a show of being detached and everything are like broken down by us seeing that he's actually a good and nice guy. Like the one of the most like impactful individual moments of that is just like when he is confronted with his lost love, right? He
Mm.
crumbles. He
Yeah,
crumbles.
immediately. He is a mess
Like he
so
has such a
quickly.
polished exterior that is just gone.
Yeah. Right, they have, like, that first meeting scene where they're in the cafe and Victor's there, but then, like, there's the later scene where she comes back, which also, like, that reveal the lighting in this movie, impeccable. Holy shit, this movie looks so good. There's the bit, right, where he's sitting in the bar at his bar in the dark, like, after hours, and the door opens, and she's, like, backlit in the doorway, and it's like, "Oh, she's back." And they have
Yeah.
just this is their first, like, real honest conversation that they've had, and it is he is just, like, s- spewing venom at her. He is just like so angry and so he can't let go of this feeling of betrayal that he had that she kind of left him in the night with leaving a sort of very vague cryptic note saying like sorry I love you bye you'll never talk to me again and I can't say why.
Yeah.
And so he again rightfully I'm like yeah I'd be maybe a little peeved also.
You mentioned the lighting and one kind of quick note is that there's a disco ball in this movie. I don't know about the history of disco balls, but like I was like, okay, they existed in the early 40s then.
Maybe this movie invented the disco ball. I don't think it did. Ingrid Bergman, also, I think the first thing we watched for the show with her,
Yeah. Another big name.
right in this movie. I mean, I'd seen this before. I'd seen other Ingrid Bergman things. I am definitely kind of reminded of Isabella Rossellini, particularly the voice.
Hmm.
I can kind of hear the lineage there. But I think like talking about like Humphrey Bogart and or not Isabella Rossellini, talking about Humphrey Bogart and Ingrid Bergman in this movie is a bit like, what are we gonna say that hasn't been said already? Like they're very good, they're very good,
Right.
they're heartbreaking, you know, all of that. But yeah, this movie gets I think the feeling of like romantic melancholy really well. This
Hmm.
feeling of like ache and like hurt, but also like there's still an undeniable kind of like attraction there where they're just like like damn it like I have all this pain layered atop all of my like romantic feelings and just kind of trying to like sift through all of those.
Yeah. Not knowing how to deal with these feelings because it's just like so many conflicting things going on at once.
Yeah, yeah. And yeah, I think this it does a really good job of sort of like putting that up on screen without, I don't know, without it feeling, yeah, kind of dishonest or overly like dramatized. Like
Hmm.
it feels pretty. I mean, the acting styles are maybe a little exaggerated because it's the 40s, but um, it feels as real as any, I don't know, as any emotion that I've really seen on screen at this point. Who else is in this movie? Sidney Greenstreet. He's in there.
Straight off a Maltese Falcon.
Yeah, a
Uh,
lot of Maltese Falcon sort of alums in this movie. A big point of reference, I think, probably the first way that we were both maybe introduced to this movie was through one of its big cultural influences, which is Grim Fandango,
yeah.
the
Yep.
LucasArts adventure game from the late '90s, which is
What do we got in Grim Fandango?
also a
We got
masterpiece.
a masterpiece. We got
Yeah,
the suit. We got the gambling announcer guy.
yeah.
We got we got like some of the same
The
window
corrupt chief of
shades.
police. We have playing the piano. We have reconnecting with a lost love after a long time. We have
Mhm.
owning a big nightclub in a sort of transient, sort of limbo esque
Liminal. But
location where people are traveling to somewhere else, and it is very difficult for them to get somewhere else. Yeah, Grim Fandango has. I mean, a whole large chunk of Grim Fandango is just Casablanca, like
yeah.
almost verbatim, and it doesn't try to hide that at all. As a fellow Grim Fandango appreciator, I feel like it's worth mentioning and talking about how much that game was probably my first actual like
Oh yeah.
exposure to Casablanca.
Yeah. And you brought me Grim Fandango. My Grim Fandango discs are burned from your Grim Fandango
Ah,
discs.
wow. From the original. Um,
Burned from the original.
yeah.
Uh the yeah, I mean, I don't know how much I have to say about it, but like, you bring up an interesting thing in that reference to Grim Fandango that I was thinking about with this is that like Casablanca, it's liminal, baby. Like it is like a like it I I feel like liminal is one of those words that you can just throw out to sound smart, but like I don't know how much I have to say about the liminality of Casablanca. I mean, he is in I guess like a liminal space in between in his emotions, right? Like
Hmm.
he is
This
in
movie is
Casablanca,
about like the idea of a liminal space
right?
almost.
It's like, yeah, it's like all of these people who are not able to flee. They're not trying to flee to Casablanca. They're
Right.
fleeing from their countries through Casablanca
Hmm.
to get to where they're trying to go, like America or something like that. And so like, yeah, like he is stuck in a transitionary space, I
Hmm.
guess. And then like he is also stuck like in his emotions, right? He hasn't gotten
Yeah.
over something.
Yeah. But also, like his emotions, he sort of made peace with his transitionary state, right? He's sort of
Hmm.
like he's comfortable in Casablanca. He owns a nightclub. He's sort of got a tuxedo. He's like
Yeah.
running things, right? Everyone respects him more or less.
Like
Like,
Manny Calavera.
yeah, exactly. But it's funny. I don't know if I'd made that direct of a connection between those. Like his physical circumstances are very representative of his emotional state. Yet another thing that makes this a good movie. Talk about the famous ending a
Hmm.
bit, where it's like he sends Victor and Elsa off to be together because they're married, and because the Hayes Code, under the Hayes Code rules, they can't actually end up together because she's still married.
Ah,
Like that is kind of a funny thing about this movie is you're like, oh, what's gonna happen? And it's like that according to the Hayes Code, they can't end up together unless Victor is killed.
which does happen
Um,
sometimes.
Sure, yeah. I read that originally the movie ended where right he sends them off on the plane and then Rick is arrested. It had more of a sort of like downbeat
Oh
ending
no,
where it was
I
like
don't
even
like.
more of a sacrificial thing. I'm glad that they soften it and that they just shoot the Nazi general and they're like, all right, someone did it. Who knows? Go arrest somebody.
Yeah, I think that like that's interesting because it's like, like we were talking about with this movie being inspirational, right? Like we're
Hmm.
gonna win. We got to keep fighting. Like I
It
like
somehow makes corruption like a cheer moment.
Yeah. But like I think that this movie doesn't feel propagandistic, but and it doesn't feel like shallow, but like that inspirational aspect of it, I don't think would work quite so well
Mhm.
if it was more because I think Rick getting arrested is more of like a ironic ending. Like
Mm.
I sacrificed myself and it's like the end of a story. But like I feel like with him teaming up with the corrupt cop so that they could take down more Nazis. It's like hell yeah, like
Yes,
it
it ends on a hell yeah moment, which is crazy for a movie that had just previously been like, "Oh, so tragic."
yeah.
Like this movie, I think this movie ends up being feeling both very like it feels very tragic and yet it also feels very comforting and kind of triumphant,
Hmm.
which again is one of a thing where I'm just like, damn, like how did they pull that off? And then yet a lot of dialogue in this movie is very famous. Probably most notably the line that isn't in the movie, which we already talked about, but read the round up the usual suspects is a famous line from this movie. I think this is the beginning of a beautiful friendship is a famous line.
Hmm.
There's a bunch more.
Here's
Um,
looking at you, kid,
that
is
one,
which I don't understand what that means, honestly. Like it's
it's
kind of
like
the
well,
thing.
it's like a toast. It's like, hey,
Here's to looking at
here's
you.
two, kind of, yeah. But
It's weird.
then
Like I
it
understand
becomes
that
a sort of shorthand that they or that he says to her at least.
he says it when he looks at her and likes her, but like
Yes. He's
I just
describing
like
what he's doing.
yeah, it's like I'm like, is he saying I'm looking at you? Like I don't I
I'm
don't
looking at you, kid.
I don't
It wouldn't have the same
understand
ring to it.
I don't understand what that line means. Like I feel like it's supposed to be this really like impactful line and I get that I get part of the feeling of it with
Mm,
the relationship, but I'm just like I was so bogged down by like what does that mean? Like I don't know.
mm. Yeah, I wish I could describe it better. I feel like it's one of those things that just it's how it feels, you
Yeah.
know? A line in this movie that I guess is kind of famous that I love is when uh right, Captain Renault, Claude Rains, he's told by the Nazis like you have to shut down the Rick's Cafe. And he's like, all right, fine. And so then he's like, you're all under arrest. I've just learned that there's been gambling happen. I'm shocked to learn that there's gambling happening here. And then someone comes up to him and goes, here are your winnings. And he goes, oh, thank you, thank you. And just shoves them in his pocket,
It's
which
good.
is
It's very good.
that like that one exchange like sums up that entire character almost. That he's like, oh dear, gambling, you're all under arrest. Oh yeah, thank you for my winnings from all the gambling I've been doing.
He Claude Rains is so good at playing different types of scoundrels. Like
Yes, like he's so scummy in this movie, and yet he somehow remains likable.
yeah, yeah.
Also, there's this isn't even a particularly famous line, but one that I thought was very fun is when Rick is talking to um the head Nazi guy, and he's sort of like, but what would you think if we were to invade America? And he's like, well, there are certain sections of New York that I wouldn't advise you to invade. And I'm like, this is a pretty good line.
That's a good line, yeah.
Yeah. And I'm like, ooh, what sections of New York is he talking about?
What are the dangerous sections or at least the ones with like a bunch of people a bunch of Spider-Man extras who
Yeah.
would
Brooklyn,
you,
baby.
you mess with one of us, you mess with all of us.
Yeah.
They
Hell
say
yeah.
that to the
I
Nazis.
I was inspired by that bit in Spider-Man and Casablanca. Yeah, I guess we've covered the big stuff. Right, some classic Michael Curtiz shadow work in this movie of like silhouettes and sort of stuff projected on walls.
Hmm.
Yeah, good movie, Casablanca. You know what? I'm gonna I'm gonna go out there and be dangerous and say that Casablanca, good movie.
It's been a while, I guess, since we've been able to call a classic an unambiguously bad movie, right? Maybe Birth of a Nation or Intolerance or something. Even Intolerance, there's maybe debatability, but it's like it is nice to watch these classic movies and go like, yes, this is why it's a classic. This is why everyone loves it. I've been totally TCM pilled.
Yeah, I think this
I'm loving it.
more than most other like classics. This one is I'm like, yeah, absolutely. Like this one deserves to be one of the most famous movies ever because it's incredible. It's great.
Here's looking
Great.
at
Like
you, kid.
also oh, damn it, that should be the end. I had another thing to say, but I ruined it.
Uh-oh.
Very very quickly, one last bit is just that the I went to the Academy Museum in LA and they had a bunch of stuff from this movie. They had the piano that Sam is playing, and they pointed out in that exhibit how much it is like this is a very international movie of like a lot of the cast and crew are from all over the world, and that is a cool thing to see.
Hmm.
Um, in any movie, but especially like a movie like this that is about sort of this right limbo city, and it's like such a melting pot, and there's just like, but it's not just like we cast a bunch of British actors to do accents. It's like everyone actually is kind of like from different places in the world, which is cool.
Yeah. Yeah. Quite an international movie, like Rush Hour 2.
Yeah, exactly the movie I would compare to Casablanca.
Rush Hour 2 is kind of my barometer for any movie.
Rush Hour 2, but not Rush Hour 1. Rush Hour 2.
I like them both. I think Wayne's World 1 and Wayne's World 2 are kind of like in the
Hmm.
same kind of situation as Rush Hour 1 and Rush Hour 2, where it feels like they're.
Rush Hour 2 is a funnier like name drop. Like it's a
Yeah,
funnier movie
exactly.
to cite. Yeah.
No, that is precisely why I said Rush Hour 2 instead of
Yeah.
Rush Hour. But yeah, they're both of more or less equal quality. But anyway, Casablanca, good movie.